Many of these fans are active or former soldiers. Is also laced with Islamophobia.
Order, Miss Sultana. I do not have to.
Well, this was a very interesting situation that happened in the House of Commons on Monday, where the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sports, Nandy, was asked an urgent question and to make a statement on the decision to ban Maccabi Tel Aviv fans from attending the Aston Villa match. Now, I have my own views on this situation, but we'll get to that later on. But everything was going as you'd expect it would be until Zarah Sultana asked this question.
Deputy Speaker, Maccabi Tel Aviv's racist fan hooliganism cannot be separated from Israeli militarism. Many of these fans are active or former soldiers who have taken part in Israel's genocide in Gaza. They should be investigated for war crimes the moment they set foot onto British soil, not welcomed into our stadiums. And let's be clear, this Labour government is no innocent bystander. It has armed Israel's genocide, it has provided diplomatic cover, and it has shamefully denied that genocide is even taking place. So I ask the Minister, is there anything this Labour government won't do to defend the genocidal apartheid state of Israel?
Clearly our Zara is no shrinking violet, is she? Yes, Zara, you don't sit on the fence, just tell us what you really think. But still a very interesting question, don't you think, on this subject?
Madam Deputy Speaker, I like the Honourable Lady, but I have to say that she is doing the people of Birmingham no favours with that sort of rhetoric. You know, when it comes to the conflation that she makes between all of the Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters and the actions of the Israeli government, that is precisely what the honourable gentleman was talking about blaming, in many cases, British citizens who happen to support Maccabi Tel Aviv for actions that are taking place in the Middle East. Conflating being Jewish and Israeli, I have to say, I'm afraid, is in itself anti-Semitism. I think she should take more care with her remarks.
Interesting reply. No, I'm not sure I can go with Nandy's view on conflating being Jewish and being Israeli is in itself anti-Semitic on this situation. But what do I know? There are better people who will know that stuff better than me. But now, this is where it gets even more interesting.
John Cooper.
Birmingham's best band is, of course, Black Sabbath, and they counsel us that if you listen to fools, the mob rules. This is a case of mob rule here. The Secretary of State's done a tremendous job of setting out the government's position. Will she review whilst still maintaining police independence?
Now, as you can hear in the background, that's Zarah Sultana. Clearly having a heated debate, you could say. But with who?
Order. If Mr. Kruber and Miss Zarah Sultana want to continue their own personal debate, they need to take it out of the chamber. Mr. Cooper.
No, it wasn't our racist 30p or other traitor to this country, Nigel Farage. It was the man who believes he should have more say on what women should do with their bodies than women themselves. Yes, Danny Kruger. I would love to have been a fly on the wall to have heard what these two were saying when they were going at it, hammer and tongs. But anyway, did it end there? No, of course not. Point of order, Zarah Sultana.
Miss Sultana, is it an appropriate point of order? Zarah Sultana, point of order.
On a point of order, Madam Deputy Speaker, in my question to the Secretary of State, I clearly stated that Maccabi Tel Aviv football team is inextricably linked to the Israeli state, which is an apartheid state. The boycott of apartheid regimes, such as apartheid South Africa, is a legitimate political stance. To label such a position as anti-Semitic, as the Secretary of State did, is entirely false and dangerous. And the way the Secretary of State has referred to me and my colleagues is also laced with Islamophobia.
Order, Miss Sultana. I do not have to repeat myself more than once. This is a continuation of the debate. The statement, the UQ, forgive me, has concluded.
Interesting, eh? Now for me on this, I found it very confusing as to why they were bothering with demanding an urgent question and for the Minister to make a statement. And as a football fan myself, a Bradford fan, I did hear that when we played Barnsley last week, there was a bit of trouble before the game. And if the police decided, to ban away fans or play behind closed doors for the return match, I would respect that decision. Because granted, I'm one of these where I don't bother with away matches anymore. That's due to my mobility. I just can't do it anymore. But if fans cannot behave themselves, why should these people who live around the ground or work in the city or towns have to deal with hooligans who cannot control themselves? And for me, it's the same here. And I don't care if you're Jewish, Muslim or Christian or any other culture or religion. If you cannot behave yourself before, during or after a football game, why should people who live in these cities or towns or work in these cities and towns and the police have to deal with thugs and hooligans like you wanting to cause trouble? Also, I did hear that this team were playing a rival team in Israel, and that game, from what I've heard, they've decided to cancel the game, and I don't hear much outrage about that, if I'm honest. Perhaps the Israeli government would prefer them to shout racist chants and participate in tearing up other towns and cities in other countries around the world. Well, they've done enough damage in Gaza, haven't they, anyway? But granted, don't get me wrong, they'll probably have been victims of violence and anti-Semitic chants and remarks themselves. But does it give them the right to go around cities and towns, around the world, fighting or attacking buildings that had the audacity to put out a flag showing support for what's happening in Palestine? Not sure it does. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below, and I shall bid you farewell and take care, my friends.